Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Donnell Dickey, founder and CEO of Educational Epiphany, and I'm joined today by my two outstanding co-hosts, Richard Bork, our Chief Marketing Officer.
Hi, everyone.
And Jerry Richardson, our Chief Operations Officer.
Hey, hello, everyone.
So, gentlemen, thanks for joining me today. I'm excited about this conversation. I hope that it is one part informative and one part instructive.
Yes.
So let's jump in.
Okay.
All right. So, Dr. Dickey, Jerry, everyone, our audience, listeners, today's episode we titled Flipping the Script.
Wow.
Yeah. And this comes from a lot of, Doc, you always go all over the country and you come back to Jerry and I with all the findings and learnings and discoveries that you make in classrooms across every place that you go.
Yeah.
From spending all that time in classrooms, you always come back with there's always one very poignant thing. And one of the things that stuck out to Jerry and I from your last travels was that folks are working so hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Folks are working really hard every day, every night to get it right in classrooms for kids.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're not getting, collectively, U.S. schools are not getting the return on their investment. Teachers aren't getting that return from all this hard work.
Yeah. And, I thought when you said day and night, that literally folks are taking the work home.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's no different than my experience as a former elementary teacher and a former high school teacher. I constantly took my work home. And no one told me that was a part of being a teacher. Jerry, what about you?
No, I think when I first started, I said, gosh, I'm getting here really early in the morning. Gosh, I'm leaving here with no cars in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you do know, Jerry, coming early and staying late doesn't necessarily mean you were doing a bang-up job.
I just thought it was 5-star.
It does give you that illusion, though, right? Like,
Absolutely. I'm putting in the work. I'm making a difference.
No, and I don't discount, coming early and staying late. I really don't.
Okay.
But Richard, I agree with you. The profession is, in and of itself, without the planning process, a taxing enterprise. And to put on top of teachers the need to take it home and work on it all night makes something that is like purpose-driven feel frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the reasons why I created a resource that we refer to at Educational Epiphany as Critical Concepts, AKA Essential Concepts, AKA Interpretation of Resource Guide. So it has 3 names.
AKA.
Right.
it has 3 names, yes.
Yeah. And so the thought was to give teachers back their weekend, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry, you've been with me places where I've said to folks that this resource came from a place of wanting to give time back to teachers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when folks have an opportunity to go through the resource, their eyes widen and they're like, wow.
Yeah.
All in one place.
Yeah, like a one-stop shop for what you need to be prepared for kids, because people have passion according to their intention to serve kids, but passion is just one part of what it takes to get kids where you want them to go. It is knowledge according to passion.
Wow. Like love is not enough.
Well, what are you thinking about?
Much therapy.
Yeah. Okay, good. No, I agree. No, I hear you though, Jerry. Like, we can love kids a great deal, but we also have to ensure that our service to them catapults them to their personal best.
Yeah.
And so that's what this resource is about. What did we title the episode?
Flipping the script.
Yeah, because all too often teachers complain about being given a script that they must follow.
Yeah.
And I remember being a teacher in the housing projects of Baltimore City, and they gave me a script. You know why they gave me a script? They didn't trust me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Ouch.
I mean, I think back on my experience as a teacher, and where I started my teaching profession was very different. They gave us a curriculum that the district created. And then it wasn't a script a day by day. But I remember teachers coming from other places around the U.S. and saying, I really wish we had something that we could turn flip to flip and tell us what to say and how to say it. And it was an interesting dynamic because I never heard someone request something like that before.
Yeah, because there are two schools of thought around what it takes to what administrators have as their responsibility to teachers to help them to serve kids well. And one school of thought is package it, hand it to folks. But some kind of way along the way, that F word.
What's the F word?
Fidelity.
My head was somewhere else.
Yeah, fidelity has become a way to paint teachers into a corner. Now, I'm not saying that folks don't benefit from having a packaged resource. They do. And packaged resources but packaged resources are being written into the law in many states. Okay, I understand that. But the script should not paint teachers into a corner to the point where they cannot do what's necessary to get kids to their personal best.
Yes.
Right. I'm going off topic a little bit, Doc, but you made me think about, like, if you think about an actor and movies and writers, and all the best actors in the world follow the best scripts, right? And that ultimately takes them to winning awards and being some of the best actors and actresses on the planet. So it makes me think of, without an amazing, powerful script that actually works and functions and, you follow and it leads you to success, then what's the...
So now the question is, what's in the script?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah. And to dovetail on what Richard said, and I'll go right to what you are suggesting here, Jerry, that is a script has a scope, a script has a sequence, and I'm talking Hollywood. And so it does serve as like guardrails and as a safety net for the production. And in the same way, a curriculum serves as guardrails and a safety net, not only for children, what they should, that to which they might be exposed, but it also serves as a safety net for the adults to ensure that their service to children is tightly aligned to how kids are going to be assessed. And so, Jerry, what was that question?
I said, what's supposed to be in the script to make it successful? Make it a successful movie, but then make it successful for our kiddos.
So I would invite you to the cover, to Roman numeral, let's go to Roman numeral 8 in the resource. And we're going to bring it up on screen so folks can see the cover of it. And so folks can see these 2 pages in the spread just for a moment, and we'll walk through it. So I remember being told, my script as a 3rd grade teacher, it literally said, teacher, say that.
Okay.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And then wait this amount of time for kids to respond.
Okay.
Then now teacher, say that.
But did it have suggested responses that students...
Yeah, and it made me think that there was only one right answer, when actually there's more than one right answer to any given question as long as kids can justify it with information from the text.
Right.
It taught me to think that there was one right answer and to tell them there was only one right answer.
Right, which cripples their way of thinking on their own. Yeah.
Correct. Now, I'm not suggesting that all package programs are written that way, but I am suggesting that we become a nation of page turners. And I was in a school in Philadelphia. I can't recall the name of it, but it was a K-8 school. And the kid said to the teacher, do you mind just explaining to us what you want us to do and show us how to do it real quick and then give us some problems to do? And the adult said, no, I can't do that. I have to follow the script.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
But what was the child asking for?
Individual support
Yeah.
and what
Help.
they needed.
Gradual release of responsibility.
Yeah.
An opportunity to demonstrate developing conceptual understanding. So what we have here is a resource to answer your question, Jerry, that is built upon 9 design principles. And that first design principle being a coherent, developmentally appropriate, logically ordered scope and sequence. Which begs what question?
How is it sequenced, and is it in a logical order based upon what the expectations are for that classroom?
Yeah. Well, for that grade level, for that content area,
Right. Right.
for that grade band, right? So I was recently in a southwestern state, and I was asked to review their curriculum for its coherence and the extent to which it is scoped appropriately and sequenced appropriately, and I could not follow it.
Right. It jumped around. It went from was it based on a themes and units, or
Oh, it was John Travolta, Staying Alive. I don't know if you.
I know.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's my point? Teachers were being asked to expose kids to instruction around a set of concepts before the curriculum pointed or prompted the teacher to teach the prerequisites of it.
But how are we supposed to know as a teacher that this is the prerequisite
Right.
for the next skill?
Well, that's a really interesting question because, folks participate on committees to decide what resource they will use. If the district is, inclusive and what have you, they will bring folks to the table. But that doesn't mean that everyone at the table fully understands the imperative for a developmentally appropriate, logically sequenced curricular program of study. So as it comes to ELA, which is what we'll talk about today, I'll just pose it to you in a question, to both of you in a question. So which one do you think should be taught first? Children determine the author's purpose of a text, or children determine the main idea of a text?
Main
idea.
Why?
Because they have to know what the text is
What it's about.
Before they can do what?
the purpose.
Make an assertion, which is higher level, about why the author composed the text originally.
Right.
Which would you teach first? Drawing inferences or integrate information from multiple texts on the same topic?
Hard question.
Okay. Softball,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that's my point.
Right.
So how do you know? I mean, you look at it and you say to yourself, why would I teach that first?
Right.
But if I have to teach it with fidelity, I have to go in the order that it is given to me, unless I can teach up in my organization.
But you would also have to have the knowledge to know the scope of the next 12 or for this year of what we have to cover. So then they'll
body
know,
of it.
right? The full body.
Sure. Well, yeah, so that you can also prioritize.
Yes.
And so I was in California recently working with a group of elementary and secondary schools, and that very question came up. So I spent some time with them and sketching out for ELA which concepts they should teach in the first quarter, second, and third, and if they have time, which ones to come back to in the fourth quarter before the assessment. And so that is a closed door, phones off, walkie-talkies down conversation. Focused conversation. And until we make time for that, we're constantly asking that question after the plane is already in the air.
Yeah, because at that point you're just trying to catch up, and
You're trying to cover.
yeah,
You're trying to get to the end of the curriculum guide, not knowing that the manner in which it is arranged is impeding your ability to get to the end of it with success. Success being determined by how well students can perform against those standards.
yeah. So you're never actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you don't have that coherence.
Yeah, it's very difficult to build a plane while it's in the air, and so, other demands on teachers and administrators, they don't stop just because you're trying to teach.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, another element of the design of this resource, and by the way, I don't know if it'd be useful to bring them up on the screen while we're talking about them. Okay, so let me go back to number one.
Yep.
And you guys mind if we go to grade, for the sake of time, let's go to grade 6.
Okay.
And we've already pre-selected a standard. Is that right? Okay. So let's say the standard is for grade 6 that kids have to trace and evaluate. And you guys have a copy of this. Kids have to trace and evaluate an argument and specific claims in the text and distinguish claims that are supported by reasons and evidence and claims that are not, from claims that are not. So let me read that again. Kids have to, in grade 6, in which state? Every state in the nation. Right? There's just a different letter number combination on the standard. Trace and evaluate the argument and specific claims in the text, distinguishing claims that are supported by reasons and evidence from claims that are not. So one thing that we're very good at is putting these, we call them critical concepts, the nation calls them standards, same thing. Putting these in the order of coherence.
Right, because they're like when you just read that concept, it was very in depth. There was a lot in there.
Yeah, it's meaty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was taught before it? Citing textual evidence. What else was taught before it?
Inferencing.
Drawing inferences. What else was taught before it?
Drawing conclusions.
Well, inferences, conclusions, sophisticated inferences, right? 'Cause you need more evidence to draw a conclusion than you need to draw an inference. What was taught before it? Main idea, central idea. What was taught before it? Analyzing the relationship between individuals, events, and ideas or concepts or steps in the technical text. What was taught before it? Determine the meaning of unfamiliar words and phrases, right? Because this is standard number 8. What was taught before it?
Point of view.
Text structures. I'm just kind of going in order, but yes, point of view. Text structures was taught before it. So why? Because this is asking kids to do something more cognitively demanding than all of those. And in order for kids to do this, they have to be able to do those others
Right.
first.
You have to build up to this.
Yeah. So the second thing that we do really well is we provide learning targets that are consistent with the critical concept. So we'll pull those two learning objectives that come from this critical concept, but let's do them one at a time. So the first one is that if kids are going to do what's under that critical concept, they're going to have to first be able to determine an author's argument and their author's point of view. Argument meaning like what are they in favor of, what are they against, in order for and determine the point of view. And since it's an informational standard, that means opinion. In order to do what? Trace, which means track, and do what? Evaluate, which means judge the specific claims that are made in the text to support that argument. And after kids are able to do that, remember we're talking about the second thing we do well in this resource to give folks their weekend back. It is, which is to provide the learning targets that are embedded with what we want kids to know and do. And the second one, because the standard is so dense, once kids can trace and evaluate the specific claims from the text in the first objective, then they can use that ability to trace and evaluate the specific claims in the text in order to do something more cognitively demanding, which is do what? Distinguish claims that are supported by reasons and evidence from those that are not.
Wow.
And this is one concept.
Yeah.
And so without these learning targets and this coherence around what the standard of the concept is asking teachers to teach kids, how do you interpret all of this, and how do you know what steps to take instructionally?
Yeah, you get ahead of me, but yeah, let me come back to that. But let me say this first before we do that. These two performance-based objectives, they are stepstones for one another, and combined, they are the standard.
Right, and you often refer this as a roadmap.
Yeah. So in this country, y'all help me remember these, Jerry. We talked about them, I believe, before. Sometimes teachers are asked to put an objective on board.
Yes.
We call them performance-based objectives, which means they require kids to know something and do something what they know, consistent with what we just put on the screen.
Correct.
Sometimes folks are asked to put I can statements on the board.
Very similar.
Very similar.
Yep.
Sometimes folks are asked to put essential questions on the board. Sometimes folks are asked to put learning, what is it called? Learning intentions and success criteria on the board. Y'all, that's the same thing. All of these are the same thing, just called by a different name. So no matter what you call it, what should it be characterized by? A use of the language that's in the standard. That sends a message to kids, whether it's posted or not. I'm going to teach you this so you can do that.
Correct.
Call it an I can't statement. Call it an objective. Call it a learning target. Call it learning attention to success criteria. Who cares?
Right.
But expose kids to the roadmap.
Correct. So they'll see exactly what they are expected to know and do by the end of this unit or this lesson.
Absolutely. Because I walk in classrooms all the time. I'm getting ahead of myself, and I ask kids what they're doing, and they point to the worksheet.
Yep.
I want them to point to the objective, the
Learning
I
target.
can't statement, the learning target,
Right.
the learning attention, success criteria. I don't care what you call it. The central question. But don't say worksheet number 7.
Right. Worksheet 5A.
Because the
Right.
worksheet 6.7 is not in the standard, is
Correct.
it? No, it's not.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, Richard, to your question, you want to repose it?
So I was just trying to think about, like, how do I, first of all, understand what's inside of this concept as an educator so that I can transfer it to kids? And then how do I know which coherent steps to take to continue on to make sure that kids are getting that deep conceptual understanding?
Okay. So let's backtrack. So, number 1, how do we give teachers their weekend back? How do we flip the script and give them their weekend back? Ensure that before the school year begins, that the standards are laid out in a coherent manner. That's number 1.
Yep.
Right. And so it's not just sequence, it's also scope. Like, how deeply do I go in them? Deep enough to make sure that kids are getting to proficiency. And then those who don't get it, I have a plan for that. Okay.
Yep.
Secondly, that the learning targets, whatever you call them, they use the language
Right.
of this concept, of the standard.
Right.
Right.
Not worksheet 5.A.
Right. It means nothing.
Right.
Okay. And don't let folks tell you a program that is fluffy and doesn't use the language, because kids are not assessed on fluff. They're assessed on conceptual understanding of language. Okay. So to answer your question, it is, we have it here as our number 3, detailed interpretations of the standards.
And that's one of the things we hear all the time of folks that use and leverage this resource that they love.
Yeah, because it says to them, this is what the standard intends for me to expose kids to. I was trying to not end that sentence with a preposition. It tells for an end user, that which the standard is asking children to experience.
Yeah. Because sometimes you can read the standard and say, "Now, what are they asking me to do?"
Well, when you read it before, I was,
Yeah, and that's how teachers feel.
yeah, like,
That's
it's
how
like,
administrators feel, who have to evaluate the instruction.
what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, that's how. And when teachers understand this, they teach differently
Absolutely.
and better.
And when kids understand the words inside of, right?
Yeah, when the standard when the objectives that come from the standards have been interpreted for the children, there's nothing that kids won't be able to do. Okay, and so let me walk you through the interpretation of this, and we'll put it up on screen for folks who are watching. Okay, so notice it says at the top of the subheading for the interpretation of the concept, it says knowledge. Why? Because content knowledge is the currency of student achievement.
Yeah.
So one of the first things we do in this resource is to say to folks, here is the knowledge that children must have, that teachers must have, that evaluators must have. Folks who are making decisions about instructional resources must have before they select.
Right, because you're tracing and evaluating the argument and specific claims in the text, distinguishing claims, right? All of this fairly complex language that makes up the standard, and you're saying, identify the specific claims the author makes.
Yeah.
You're giving the roadmap.
Yeah, but how can I identify the claim if I don't know what a claim is?
Right.
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 Or if we haven't calibrated on what a claim is as members of the same team. So let me back up. Right. So this concept requires that students read text wherein an author is communicating an argument on a particular topic. Which means I have to select, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I have to have the right text to teach this concept. Because as an English teacher, I don't teach a text. I use a text to teach a concept that's embedded in a standard.
Right.
Okay. Furthermore, it reads, students must be given an opportunity to determine an author's argument or opinion on a topic, followed by 4 additional opportunities. 1, to identify the specific claims that an author makes. 2, to attribute reasons and evidence to a particular claim. 3, to distinguish between reasons and evidence that support a particular claim. And 4, to identify claims that are not supported by reasons and evidence. the Helliana, the Holly Berry.
Right.
But in the curricular resource, you will see this standard up against 3 others for 3 days.
Right.
And how can I teach 3 really dense critical concepts, aka standards, at one time?
Yeah, this just made me think about like argument. First of all, the definition of argument goes into a persuasive claim, counterclaim, reasons, and evidence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then also the way that this knowledge is placed inside the interpretation of the critical concept, the way it is, it's written so that I'm like, oh, I understand actually what's expected for my kids to be able to know and do.
Yeah. Because look, I'll ask kids all the time, what's an argument? Or even I ask teachers, give them a Post-it note. And this is not designed to like make them feel uncomfortable, but it is to like elevate the importance of us all being on the same page. Mm-hmm. And so you're right, Jerry. What's an argument? They're words that are used for the purpose of persuading thought or action, right? And they must have a claim. They must have a counterclaim. They must have reason and evidence to support the claim. And that knowledge has to be level set before instruction ever begins on this standard.
Yeah.
Right.
The second paragraph says that text around which these conversations must be facilitated should represent a balanced approach to exposure to informational text. So what am I trying to say? I cannot teach this standard with one piece of text and say that I've taught it to mastery.
I can't use my favorite text.
Of course you can use your favorite text, but don't stop there.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes
Keep
sense.
going.
Yes.
Broaden it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the text should be historic. So I teach kids to trace and evaluate an argument and specific claims in the text using historical text and scientific text and technical text, like, texts that are related to like a sequence of steps or a process, and a text on a variety of topics so that kids get background knowledge, and text on a variety of perspectives or opinions so that children know that just because something is written doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
Which is so important.
Yeah.
Today.
But if my curriculum says day 1,
Right.
if my curriculum says day 1, I don't have enough time to do this.
Yeah.
If I'm being forced to move on so that I can teach the script with fidelity, flip the script.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Teach to the expectation, to the rigor of the standard, using the resources that are available to you in a judicious manner.
Yep.
All right. Can we go to number 4?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So the fourth thing that this resource does well in service to children through adults is to ensure that the entire instructional ecosystem has access to a set of terms that are underneath the work associated with the standard at the C level, so you see these words in the standard, but then also there are words underneath it that you don't see in the standard that are essential for kids to master the standard.
Yeah. You don't see this often
You don't see this.
or at all.
What do you guys mean?
In terms of like looking at the standard, looking at the objective, looking at knowledge, reminders, and misconceptions, and then looking at the vocabulary that students must be able to do.
Yeah, because they must be able to demonstrate an understanding of,
Correct.
Right? And so if the interpretation says that they have to, trace the claim, then what does trace mean? If they have to trace a claim, then what is a claim?
Right.
If they have to distinguish between claims that are supported by evidence and claims that are not supported by evidence, what does support mean and what is evidence?
They have to
And every word you just said is in here.
It's in there. Yeah.
I'm tracking it.
Yeah. I was too. Like, okay, yep, that.
Tracing it. Yeah.
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 And so why not give this page, I hope it's on the screen by now, why not give this page to kids?
Right. I was just thinking, like, at putting myself in the learner's shoes, it's like if I have reference points to this, it's only going to reinforce what I'm being asked to do and help me build my knowledge base or understanding of what I'm being asked to do as a kid.
Yeah. An educator asked me, do you just think I should just have kids use this word in a sentence multiple times?
No.
1928. Talk to them, have a conversation with them about these terms. Ask them what their understanding is of these terms, but ask everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what does this resource do? It positions the passionate and the faithful to serve kids well.
Absolutely.
And it gives the passionate and I just said it escapes me already. The passionate and the faithful. Yeah, thank you. The passionate and the faithful. It gives them a resource to do just that.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking, Jerry?
Yeah, and I was thinking on, watching you do demonstration lessons and seeing students write down their first thought of what a lot of these terms might mean to them. And then you clarify for them and say, actually, I'm going to make you more correct. The term means this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the way that you connect it to their life or something that's going on with them. So by the time the lesson has concluded, they remember what argument is, claim means, evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is a connection to self.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a connection to their world.
Yes.
Right.
That causes it to stick.
Or I might have even looked at one of these definitions and had a different meaning of that word in my head from my own experience, and watching you kind of clarify that versus what the actual psychometrician definition of that term is.
Yeah. And why is that important? Because it's the psychometrician's definition that is used to develop standardized questions. And so it is not a standards alone that ensures that children have standardized access to instruction. It is standardized understanding of the academic language. All right. So the fifth of the nine things that we do to ensure that we can help teachers flip the script and serve kids well, in conjunction with their district curriculum. Because let me make myself clear here. I'm not saying throw away the district curriculum. I'm not.
Right.
What I am saying is use it in a way that gets children from point A to point B.
Yes.
Yep. Instead of point A to point F to point J to.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right, like-
yeah. The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
Right.
And so instruction that is a straight line is instruction that kids will hold on to. All right. So number 5 is graphic organizers. Graphic organizers that are consistent with the demands of the concept or the standard. And so if you look at the top of this graphic organizer, you will see the language of the standard. People say, well, that's not my letter, that's not my number. That's okay. But kids have to trace and evaluate the argument and specific claims in the text and distinguish claims that are supported by reasons and evidence from claims that are not, no matter what state they live in this country. All right. And so what do you see in the first box to the left?
Author's argument.
So this is asking kids to do what? Write what?
What's the author's argument?
Yeah, what is the author argument? Now, what is an argument? Some words that the author is presenting with the purpose of changing someone's thought or action. So the author's argument might be, you should never throw trash in the street.
Yes.
It's wrong to throw trash in the street. That's an argument.
Right. And then to me, again, putting myself in the students' shoes, it's like, oh my God, what does argument mean again? Right. Because yep, I feel like that I have to keep going, keep up, and be a part of where we are in the lesson. And having that reference point on here, to me, is one of the most valuable things.
Or me as an educator and looking over a kid's shoulder and realizing that they didn't write the author's argument. They wrote something completely different. I'll say, hey, what does argument mean? I can point to my hand, and I'm now putting the ownership on them to tell me what the definition means.
Right. And look, right next to where it says author's argument in that box, there are some words in parentheses. And it's in the Epiphany word bank.
Yep.
So no matter where you look, it's right in front of you.
Access.
Access. Yeah. Now, what's under that? The author's claims.
With the definition.
With the definition right next to it.
Yeah.
And so I use 3 here because, a 3-fold cord is difficult to be broken. Where that just came from. So maybe it's another Sunday school lesson. All right. And so kids will give you a shallow response just to stop writing and thinking, make the pain go away. And so I'm pushing them to
Keep
that.
it moving. Right?
Done.
I'm done.
Done.
Right. Now, what do you see in the boxes below the author's claims box?
Reasons and or evidence.
To support what?
Claim
Claim
1.
one.
And then,
2,
and then,
3.
and next to each one of those boxes, I'm asking children to do what?
That's the type of
Type
evidence,
of evidence.
which I've never seen before.
I know you haven't. That's the
Yeah.
genius of it.
I don't recall seeing that.
So, because people will teach author's argument, but they'll teach it at the grade level below the expectation, but kids are assessed at the grade level expectation. And so the grade level if you're in a secondary classroom, you don't just pull out reasons and evidence to support the claim. You also need to know the type of evidence. Yeah. But that is the language that's embedded in it's below the sea level of the iceberg.
Right. It's the ingredients, right?
It's the part you cannot see when you look at the standard with the naked eye.
Right.
That's true.
And so what do we do this for? Every standard for ELA, from kinder all the way to grade 12. So kids have to know whether the type of evidence they are using to support their assertion that a reason and or evidence is given to support a given claim that makes up the argument, whether or not that evidence is facts and statistics, whether it is what experts say, whether it is an eyewitness account, or whether it is of personal experience, all of which are useful in supporting an argument through specific claims. But what do you see below those three boxes going down the page?
Source.
The source. Why?
You got to be able to cite where you got this
got to
information
cite it.
And
Distinguish claims that are supported by reasons and evidence.
we got that.
Yeah.
But why? Why the source box in this day and age?
I mean, false and fake news.
You want to judge the source.
Trying to be funny, and then
That actually was. I was laughing.
Okay,
You want kids to be able to judge the source of information. Like when I fly all the time, I'm on planes constantly, and people are so concerned with what I'm watching on the back of the seat on the screen. Because they're weirded out by it, because I'm constantly going between three major networks to watch the news.
Oh, okay.
So when one goes to commercial, I go to the other one. And when that one goes to commercial, I flip back to the third one. Then I go back to the first one. They're like, what is wrong with this dude?
For 5 hours, he's...
Hey, commercials, no.
Is that your inference?
No, that was my inference.
No, but what I'm trying to do is to judge. I'm trying to evaluate the information I'm receiving from the sources and make my own truth.
Yes. Yeah.
So kids have to be taught to think this way.
Yeah, they really do. Think on your own.
But you also got to be taught how to.
Right,
You gotta
exactly.
build that muscle.
Yeah, you don't wake up a wonder.
No.
You become a wonder over time
Yeah.
through instruction that is tightly connected to what everyone says kids should learn.
Yeah.
All right. Number 6 is about kids having access to a variety of texts. So I kind of alluded to this one already, so I won't spend a lot of time here. But inside of this resource, I didn't copy the text for you guys. But if I'm going to teach this standard really well, I need to make a decision. What text am I going to use when I'm modeling? My hope, because I want kids to be exposed to historical and scientific and technical texts across eras, topics, and perspectives, is that that's hard to do within one text. So when I model for kids how to do this, I might use text A, and I might choose an historical text. And when I have kids work in the whole group and I'm looking over their shoulder to see if they're developing their ability to do this work, I might use a scientific text. And when I ask kids to work in pairs, I might have them use a technical text. And when I ask them to work alone to demonstrate independence around this concept, I might have them use a text that's reflective of a different era, and so forth.
Now, if I'm going from one phase to another, because you just described the gradual release of responsibility, do kids experience difficulty when you switch up the type of text?
I would say yes. But that is the charge. It is to not let kids think everyone's going to win a blue ribbon. And instead say, while I was modeling, of course you could do it, because I was doing the thinking.
Yes.
But now when I start to release you gradually, I'm going to give you a piece of text with which you might not be familiar, and it might not be in your interest base, but I need you to persevere. And when I put you in pairs, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give you a text that's complex. Come up to it. If you see words you don't know, deal with those words and then do the work.
building an intellectual muscle.
Yes,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
So they can use it later in your absence. All right. Number 7 is a variety of literary text. So we're really talking about the same concept. So this concept that we're talking about today in this grade 6 resource is an informational standard. But if we were doing the literary version of this very same standard, which there is not one, you don't typically argue about literary text, but author's argument is not assessed through literary text. So, but if we were working on like central idea and theme, I might use a variety of historical, scientific, technical texts across areas, topics, and perspectives to teach central idea informational. And then when I go to central idea literary, I'll use a variety of texts that are reflective of different genres, right? Plays, poems, stories, different traditions, classical, mythological, traditional, different eras of literature, different themes of literature. And I would not think that I taught that standard central idea literary well if I only taught it through the use of a single novel.
Yeah. Exposing them to all.
Right. So what's in this resource? Text excerpts so that kids get exposure to a variety of texts. Because texts don't get assessed.
Right.
Right. Okay. And then number 8, we're almost there to number 9. Number 8 is the right questions. And so you guys have a set of questions, so I'm going to have you peruse those questions. And what you'll see with the questions is they're connected to what we call the critical concept, what everyone else calls a standard. So look at the objectives, learn the target, I can statement, essential question over to the right. You guys put it on screen for us. And then look at the questions to the left. What do they have in common?
So 1 through...
See where you're going, but go back up.
Okay, well, we're addressing each term. Term that students have to be able to know and do.
Yes, but where were you going with that 1 through blah, blah, blah thing? Because you're on to something,
You
Jerry.
were.
Don't lose it.
I was saying that, hold on, trace and evaluate specific claims in the text. So I'm thinking 1 through 10 answer the first performance-based objective.
Oh, I see what you're doing. You're trying to draw a line between the guiding question. First of all, what is a guiding question? They're questions that if kids cannot answer, they cannot demonstrate mastery of the standard. Right? And some kids, on their way to the culminating or more difficult question related to the standard or the concept, they fall apart. And we must know where kids are falling apart if we're going to get them to the culminating, most difficult, most cognitively demanding question in the lot.
Yes.
Right.
But so I see what you're doing, Jerry. You drew a line between the guiding questions that are related to the first objective versus the second. I would argue that, say it again.
Go ahead.
I would argue that before you draw the line, let's do this.
Okay.
There are some floor questions here and some ceiling questions. So I go floor, ceiling.
Okay.
You see that?
Yes.
Look at 1, 2, 3. Which 2 are floor?
Number 1.
And
2.
so that kids can do what? Go to a ceiling, which is what?
What's the author's argument?
Answer the question about author's argument, which is only the first part of the first objective. That they should be able to determine the author's argument. Now let's keep going. They have to define point of view. Floor. They have to define trace. Floor. They have to define evaluate.
Floor.
Define reason.
Floor.
Define evidence.
Floor.
Define claim.
Floor.
So they can do what? Ceiling, which is
author's major.
Determine what are the author's major claims in the text, which is the second part of the first objective. You see?
Wow. I didn't realize that before.
Now let's go to question number 11. How does the author use reasons and evidence to support his or her claim? What is that? Is that floor or ceiling?
Ceiling.
Yeah, ceiling.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and what is it connected to? Which objective?
To evaluate it?
The question is, how does the author use reasons and evidence to support his or her claim in the text? To which objective is that aligned? The second one.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure I was right.
Yeah.
Before you
You mean your silence?
Yeah, I was like,
was your
you wanted-
communication?
you wanted your answer first.
Now it says number 12. Which reason and evidence support which claims?
Yeah, definitely
Right?
ceiling.
Ceiling.
Yeah.
Are there any claims unsupported? Which objective are we dealing with? Still,
Two.
the second one.
Two.
Now, to which extent is the author's argument connected to logical claims, reasons, and evidence?
Yeah, two.
Yeah, it's a ceiling question as well.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
we can ask kids to do question number 14, which is the most difficult, but they're going to fall apart on their way 1 through 13. So what do? We're flipping the script here by saying to teachers, educators, anyone who will listen, if your program of study doesn't prompt you to ask these questions, don't expect kids to get to mastery.
Right. And it's giving you guardrails as a teacher too, right?
It's a safety net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're able to really pinpoint and see where kids are at as you're going through these questions.
Right.
And where they might fall apart.
Right.
Yes. And so what we have to do, okay, because this is content knowledge, because content knowledge is the currency of student achievement, right? But then the pedagogy comes in when you say, okay, I'm not going to ask these questions out loud because only 3 kids are going to answer, and I'm going to use that to advance the lesson. I need to know what every kid thinks is the answer to these questions along the way.
Yep.
And these questions are tightly connected to the graphic organizer.
Yeah. Oh my God, I did a lesson in Kentucky, and I was telling the teachers afterwards, I said, I only went through the vocabulary, but I said, I can tell you, you guys have already been teaching this lesson this standard for quite a bit. I can already put groups based off of their understanding of what these terms mean, such as main idea and key details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in real time, you have real time data. Because a lot of times I see folks using autopsy data to determine what to do next. Y'all know autopsy is a result of death. And so the lesson is already dead. It's done. Okay, I'm a little passionate.
Yeah. Hey, you're right.
No, it's true though.
It's very true.
late. Yeah, it's too late.
Kids have already checked out.
Right. And they feel like they don't have a grip on what they're supposed to be
I
learning.
have no idea.
Right.
Why would you be engaged?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Okay. And then finally, number 9, built-in assessments. And so you'll have to go to, and I didn't put it in your handout, but I would have to go to the very end of the resources for this standard. And you have one. If you just keep flipping in your book and look for demonstration of mastery and transfer. I don't call it an assessment because, I think kids are over-assessed, so I just call it an opportunity for kids to demonstrate that they've been taught. And what you will see at the top of the demonstration of mastery page, and in this case it's page 53. So when we put that on the screen, you guys should be looking at page 53 right now if you're watching the episode. You will see, Jerry, do you need help?
I need gradually release.
So go to the end
Okay, I
of
got
2
it.
standards and
I
you'll
got it.
see it. Okay, all right. So why is it 2 standards? An informational standard, literary standard. But we're dealing with a standard that only has an informational part.
Yes.
So that's only, so that you won't see informational and literary at the end of it. You just see, in this case, just an informational opportunity to be assessed. And you'll see the standard, we call it critical concept. You'll see the objectives, and then you'll see a set of questions that might be posed to kids, with which you might use any text because the questions are universal.
Right.
You can even use your favorite text.
Which is great because I can leverage resources that I already have.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
So let me go through the questions for folks. So question number 1 says, and how are we doing on time? We gotta wrap it. But number 1, what is the author's argument or point of view on the topic of the text? Number 2, what claims does the author make to support his or her argument or point of view? Now trace the claims that the author makes from the beginning to the end of the text. Now evaluate the strength of each of the author's claims. And before you finish, which claims are supported by reasons and evidence and which claims are not. They're universal questions.
Yeah.
To get kids to think based off of that particular those standards.
Yes,
Yeah.
and not
Those
copy and
objectives.
paste.
Yeah.
So could you start with this at the very beginning of your instruction and see how kids do to determine who doesn't even need to be taught? The answer to that question is yes. So what have we done to help teachers to flip the script around the country? We have identified concepts, standards that cross state lines.
Yeah.
And we said once and for all, let's stop unpacking the same thing.
Yeah.
Let me have it already unpacked. And now leave me to myself. Give me a moment to read it and redline it.
Yeah.
Please don't talk to me while I'm trying to consume information and call that a PLC. And tell me on my free time, go and read it.
Yeah.
So give me a job embedded moment to develop my understanding of what I have to transfer to children. Flip the script.
Yep.
Yeah.
Turn it around. Make that all that hard work a little more coherent, a little more successful,
Yeah.
better aligned, calibrated.
Yeah, but I have a responsibility as an educator to take advantage of that time because people tell me all around the country I need more time. I think we're wasting time.
Yeah. More time doesn't mean better time.
No, I just need a sufficient amount of time to think.
Yeah.
And as a professional, take it seriously. So that when kids stand in front of me, I'm ultra prepared to serve them well.
Yeah.
I mean, we work with a couple of districts. This is exactly what we're doing. We're opening up their curriculum, and then we're going through each step. And some of the things that I'm noticing is that they have a pacing guide, they have text, they have activities, they have maybe assessments, but they're missing vocabulary, they're missing learning targets, they're missing a true complex text. No guided questions. I have not seen that once.
Yeah.
And
Graphic
no rich
organizers too, right?
No
Right.
graphic organizers.
Yeah.
Or you might see one and it's from 1914 from a risograph. And
Right.
it's purple.
Right. And it definitely doesn't have definitions
Yeah.
embedded.
And this is not about tearing people down. It is
Right.
about, I keep seeing a pattern.
Correct.
So here is the pattern. And I'm trying to combat that pattern that's keeping us from being able to position children to demonstrate their true capacity.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. All hearts and minds clear?
Hearts and minds are
I
clear.
wanted Richard to do the book, open up a curriculum.
Oh, go
Is
ahead.
that bad?
Oh, you-
Open the book.
No, it's
Which
okay. We
book?
don't have to do that one.
This book. Oh,
What
okay.
one of the
Yeah.
book?
Oh, yeah. We don't have time.
Yeah, we're out of
Okay,
time.
we're out of time.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We hope that this conversation was compelling. We hope that you'll walk away from it better able to serve children, which is the whole purpose of our podcast. So thanks for joining us. And for more information about our service to schools and communities around the country, please visit our website at educationalepiphany.com. Take care.
Bye all.
Bye, guys.